is being cheered by too many of y'all, including some of y'all who identify as liberals, who identify as progressives. You can't have it both ways. Don't tell me you're liberal or progressive and you want to try a 14-year-old kid as an adult. Why would you say that, Mark? Well, you don't have a fully developed brain at 14. Shit, you don't have a fully developed brain at 16 or 18. At 14, if you're engaged in a mass school shooting, there are many factors to consider. But what I cannot consider is that you are a fully formed human being that made this decision on your own. If you're 14 years old and you're shooting up schools, who harmed you? What is your history? What is your story of trauma? Now, some of y'all are gonna say, well, I know a whole lot of people who got histories and stories of trauma and harm, and they managed not to shoot up a school. I agree. I agree. So the question then becomes, how do we respond to it? Well, in the tradition I come out of, the abolitionist tradition, we respond to it by holding people accountable. But accountability doesn't mean a cage. Accountability doesn't mean the death penalty. And accountability doesn't mean treating a 14-year-old as if he were a 34-year-old. And even if you were 34 years old, I would have a conversation about what we do with him. But at 14 years old, there's no doubt that this is a child. You cannot take a child and give them an adult punishment. You cannot take a child and sit them in a cage for 20 and 30 years. The premise of trying to...
I so easily could. You don't understand how easily I can put a child in a cage for 20. You kill how many people? Guns pointed at, and you think I got sympathy for you to be in a cage?
Yeah.
You know who want to be in a cage?
All
those people you kill.
Absolutely.
They'd rather be in a cage.
Absolutely.
At least they'd be alive in that cage, right? So
absolutely.
Yeah, my sympathy it starts to dries up. It dries up pretty quick.
I agree with you. I agree with it. Like my sympathy is I agree with you, but I understand where he's coming from as well. My sympathy, I have less sympathy, of course, especially after you can commit atrocities like that. But I do understand that your brain isn't fully developed, and on his end, if we could do rehabilitation and and even on your end, because I know you would be the same as well, like if you could guarantee that some positive, like number one, that action wouldn't occur in the future, and that he would be a positive, or any individual who did this crime would be a positive variable in society now, then you would like it's time to let them go and let them reintegrate into society. And I think that should be the goal. And I think that's where I think he is, like he's saying, even if he was an adult, I would even be willing to do something different. To where, so like I can understand the bloodlust in terms of us wanting to do punishment relative to disincentivizing the action, and then rehabilitating to like make sure that it doesn't happen again, or can we turn that negative into a positive? And if we can, should we?
I think if we can, we should. And I had this discussion with my parents a long time ago. In general, I'm not a fan of punishment. I still want to put people in prison, but it's not because I'm angry at the person. It's because I need to, first priority, stop them from doing it again.
Right.
Second priority, deter any other people who are thinking about doing it from doing it again. Right. But that's up to, those are two future oriented ideas. It's not about the past. It's not about, oh, you did this thing, so I'm mad. So it's about, I got to stop you from doing it in the future. I got to stop other people from feeling safe from doing this in the future. Right. Now, if I could know for sure that you weren't going to do it in the future, if I can, and the second one is a harder one. If I could prevent lenience from making other people feel more comfortable from doing it, then I'm fine. If he woke up tomorrow with, the mind of an innocent person, he just transformed himself. He's no longer the same person. He will never do anything, and we knew that for sure. And this wouldn't negatively, or this wouldn't be an influence to anyone else who was considering it. I would be fine letting him go free tomorrow after killing that many people. If I knew he was going to be safe, because I don't punish people who are in the right mindset. Right. Like if you mean well, like for instance, I'm highly vengeful. I am. but I'm also highly forgiving, right? So if you do something, let's say you do something bad to me, right? And then like the next day I see you and you're like, hey man, like I was so wrong for that. Like these are the reasons why I did it. I was wrong for it. I shouldn't have done it. I've improved myself. I'm never going to be that way again. I'm sincerely sorry. And they mean it, right? It's not like they're not playing with me. They seriously mean it. I'm going to forgive them, man. Like I'm not going to hold on to that old stuff. But on the other hand, if you have that mentality, let's say you didn't even do anything to me yet, right? You didn't do anything to me, but you planning on doing it. Like you want to do it. Like that evil is in your mind. Then you're a problem. So to me, it's about your current mind state. Your current mind state, and again, if we could know for sure in the future that you wouldn't do it again, then I'd be fine letting you go. The only reason I couldn't let you go is just for the deterrent factor against other people. Right. So I would still lock you up in practice, but principally, I would be, I think trying to get to a place where people are rehabilitated and can get let go is good. I'm not out for vengeance. It's just like I can't, let's say we try him as juvenile and he's out at 20 years old walking on the street. It's like that ain't good. Like I don't want him on the streets.
I get you.
At 20 years old.
I get you. And that's where I think Mark may be talking about that bloodlust, where I think people don't want rehabilitation. I think, especially in situations like this, I think they want vengeance.
You're right. A lot of them do. Most people don't think like me in that regard. But this also reminds me. You remember that? I think it was Dave Chappelle joke. Like, how old is 16 really? Remember that?
No, but like that sounds like something Dave Chappelle would make funny.
Yeah. So it was. I don't remember the joke 100%. So I'm not going to try to like re-say it. But the whole point was like, people talk about 16-year-olds being children and stuff, but like some stuff. I think it was I think it was like R. Kelly was like peeing on a 16-year-old girl. It was like, if you're 16, you should be able to figure out whether or not you want to get peed on. That's something you study for the SAT. You taking some of them taking calculus and stuff. You can't figure out you want to get peed on, then I don't know what to tell you.
Riley from Boondock said, "When I see pee, I move." He said, when she see pee, she stays.
So yeah, it's like he's a child. He's 14. I'm like, yeah, your brain ain't developed, but I really don't. That whole brain development thing, that really does not persuade me one bit. Because again, there's so much cognitive variance, right? You got some people that are brilliant from a young age. You got some people that dumb 60-year-old, right? Like
right.
Even if you fully develop, you're gonna be dumb at the end anyway. Unfortunately, for a lot of people, that's the case, right? Like you'll be done at the end of your development. Other people, they were smart at the beginning of their development, and so like I just really because like I really don't like it always bothered me, man. It's like people have so much sympathy for children, man. I mean, and it's arguably being 14. This dude a teenager, right?
Yeah.
He gets somebody pregnant, right? So it's like this dude, there's so much sympathy. And then, like, as soon as they hit, I think Marc Lamont is different. I think he protects himself. But like for a lot of people, as soon as they hit 18, that sympathy just disappears.
It's gone.
It's just like they care so much about him. And then at age 18, if they can't find a place, they're homeless. But you bum, kick them on the street. I'm like, what just happened? Yeah. I'm like two years ago, he was a saint, and then now that he's 19, no sympathy whatsoever. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, because I got a lot of sympathy for everybody. I got sympathy for adults. I got sympathy for kids, but it ain't that. My sympathy is universal. I got sympathy for everybody. I don't like cut it off at a certain age. But then a lot of people, as soon as they hit 18, their sympathy disappear. And I'm like,
it's gone. It's gone. It is gone. Yeah, I think that's it's an interesting situation. And I don't like how people are vengeful in situations like this, but I understand it. And it's just like, and I can't say that I wouldn't be vengeful in a situation like this, especially if it was one of my family members that were involved. But I understand that vengeance isn't the right solution for this from a societal term.
It ain't that wrong. For societal, yes. We need our government to be objective.
Right.
Yes. But as an individual, individual justice.
Right.
Like, because for instance, if any of those people he was trying to killed him in self-defense, that'd been 100% right.
Absolutely.
It'd been 100% right.
Absolutely.
Right. So it's like, if I'm there, Now the police can't do that, right? The police can't take matters in their own hands. They can't take justice in their own hands, straight kill people, right? Because again, our system needs to be fair. But like, if I'm a member of that school and I had the opportunity to take him out,
take him out. Yeah, absolutely.
Easy. He's gone easy, man. And again, I would not shed a tear, man.
No.
Safe and comfortable.
Absolutely. And if somebody did it, they would have been applauded. They would.
Yeah, they're gonna be like,
"Oh,
you killed a child." It's like, okay, man.
That wouldn't be the conversation at all. They would be a hero,
right?
And that's
interesting. But our system can't be that way, right? Our system does have to be objective. Right. We don't want our system to be that emotional, but from like the gut, morality, the human element. Yeah, I wouldn't feel a moral dilemma. And like I said, I think there's too much sympathy for children and there's not enough sympathy for adults. And for some reason, as soon as you're 18, it just disappears. It goes from like 100 to 0. I'm like, come on.
They go through that adult portal and that's it.
You're on your own now. Good luck.
Yeah, I get that. I'm right there with you. I think that's not consistent and it's unfortunate. And especially like, that's one thing I will say in the Black community. That's one thing that we do. I mean, as soon as you hit 18, it's just like, that's one thing. It's just like, they are, in the Black community in particular, you are an adult and it's time to get out the house and it's time to go find your own. It's just like, I'm not with that.
Like, we've been waiting to get you out of here.
Yeah. It's just like, at 18 years old, it's just this portal didn't happen, this magical change that occurred. Now you have all of the resources and tools to do everything in life that you need to do. So it's time to go do it. So I'm right there with you. I agree 1,000%.
Someone as an adult is that somehow the crime is so grave that it warrants not giving you a childlike penalty. But the problem is they are a child, so they didn't make an adult decision. They didn't make an adult choice. They didn't have the capacity to make an adult choice. I want to know, what is it about?
I'm sorry to keep pausing, but I hated that mentality, man. You don't have the capacity to think like an adult. Somebody tell me that is 14. It's like, dude, you know who you talking to? You probably ain't got the capacity to think like an adult. Talking to me, yeah, man. That kind of condescension, man. The level of, because imagine you talk to anybody else like that. Imagine you said, well, a woman doesn't have the capacity to think like what? Right? You say that to a child. Oh, a Black person doesn't have the capacity to think. What? Right? But when you say it about children, it's okay. Oh, children must be stupid. What? Man, get out of here. I hated that, man. As a child, I hated that condescension from adults who just walk around assuming that they superior. Like, nah, man, don't come to me with that superiority BS. Show some respect. Some respect.
I don't like it on principle that murder is an adult action. I'm like, that's not an adult act. And that's where, like, to me, on principle, I think our laws for children should become more strict as it relates to murder, especially around again, that gives a 13-year-old and 12-year-old, 11-year-old, 10-year-old reasonable, capable agents the license to just go out there and kill.
Right. I'm telling you, they ain't stupid, man. And you got a kid who wants to kill.
Right.
And he's smart. It's like, dude, I'm 13.
Absolutely.
I'm free.
This is the time.
Especially if they're watching this show.
Yep.
And then like legislation passes something like, oh, well, we know 13, you can't charge her for murder. It's like, all right, I got plans this weekend. Right? And it's like, nah, man. No, indeed, man.
Yeah, I don't like that on principle.